And we can just dance the night away until we get no more. Shake all the hurt away so you can feel and forget who you used to be. For just tonight, could you just dance the night away?
Alright, and now we're recording part 3. This is the last part of Guild Wars 2 content being voiced over for Reddit. We have more relationship advice videos. I have 2 of them here. And then, let me pull that up.
My 30F boyfriend, 29M, doesn't think I'm beautiful and it's destroying my self-esteem.
Dang.
How do I get over this? My boyfriend and I have been together for almost a year, and it's going very well. I love him very much. It's by far the best relationship I ever had, and we're starting to talk about moving in together, but there's one problem. He doesn't think I'm beautiful, and it's affecting my mental health. So, I think he's perfect, inside and out. He's handsome, funny, sweet, intelligent, generous, caring. Every time I look at him I think, how did I ever pull that? 'Cause I think he's way out of my league. I just feel so lucky to be with him. He doesn't feel the same. He says that he loves my personality and that I'm smart, and that sex is top tier, and he never had any so good with any other girl. But when I asked if he thinks I'm hot he said no. He thinks I'm pretty and he likes me, but he cares about personality more. This came up because while chatting about exes he told me about this one girl he had a short fling with, and he said when he saw her he thought she was stunningly beautiful and that she was out of his league, and felt proud he scored with her even if the relationship didn't develop because they didn't like each other on a deeper level. I jokingly asked if he felt the same about me and he said no. When I first saw you I thought you were pretty, but it's your intelligence and personality that made me fall for you. Now you have to keep in mind, I have huge self-esteem issues. I always felt ugly. In middle and high school I was constantly bullied for being ugly. Classmates would tell me to unalive myself cause I was so ugly they couldn't look at me.
Ew.
So physical appearance is a sensitive topic to me. Whatever little self-esteem I had I always got from my relationships. So him saying that basically destroyed whatever good opinion I had of myself. He noticed I got upset and said he was confused. He didn't understand why it was such a big deal to me. He said, I get that you got bullied, but I never said you're ugly. I said you're pretty, but I like your personality more. Is it really that important to you that I think you're the most beautiful girl ever? I don't understand how he's not getting this. He once told me one of the reasons why he has low self-esteem, other than the fact he never had much success with girls and that no one other than his mom and grandma and me ever called him handsome, was that his ex, not the short fling, the only girl he had a serious relationship with, whenever he said why are you with me, you're too beautiful for me, would say, 'cause I feel good with you, instead of, 'cause you're beautiful too, so he should get me. Should he not? I understand this all sounds silly, and I like that he loves my personality. But I honestly feel like he's the most perfect guy ever, both inside and out, and I just wish he felt the same about me. Instead, I now feel like he settled. He said that's not true, he does feel lucky to be.
Okay, and the rest of that says, but not because of my looks. This is crushing my self-esteem. I've never felt uglier. I wish I had the money for plastic surgery. It's also making me really jealous. Something very jealous. Something I'm not never been. How can I get over this? Okay, for one, I think, sweetie, I think I was worried about this tile a little bit because I was thinking that he was gonna outrightly say something horrible. I think that he's not valuing the outside as much as he values the inside. I think he likes I think he values you as a person. And here's the thing, right? I actually think that he communicated this poorly, but I get the feeling that he adores you, and that because he clearly has, like, he thinks you're intelligent, smart, beautiful, funny, or pretty. And here's the thing, he said pretty, right? And he didn't say beautiful. But here's the thing, you don't need to be beautiful to be attractive, sweetie. There's different levels of attractive, okay, right? I'm not pretty, and I'm not beautiful as a person. I'm cute, all right? And what makes me cute is my behavior and my mannerisms, because don't get me wrong, I didn't like being called cute growing up. I really didn't want to be seen as cute. I wanted a man to see me as beautiful too. I wanted to be seen as graceful and interesting and, something like that. I wanted to be considered a graceful lady. I'm not. I'm a goofball. And because of that, I come off as cute in public. I smile a lot, I giggle a lot, I dance a lot, I do all these things. There are some things you can do because beauty and grace come with a certain kind of attitude. But I think you're too hard on yourself and you are projecting your insecurities onto him. I think he was saying that as far as attraction level, the other woman was hotter. But just because her packaging was better did not mean that the inside was good, okay? Let me put it this way. I have bought some fancy chocolate before that had beautiful wrapping. And it looked great on the outside. Bit into it, tasted like crap. It was gross as can be. Alright? And that's the thing. People are the same way. Just because you're wrapped up in a beautiful wrapping does not make you a good person on the inside. And I think that your man sees you as something pretty and good. You may not be as pretty wrapped as the other woman was, or beautifully wrapped, but you are pretty enough that and pretty's still a good word. Let's be real. Pretty is still good. Right? But I think he's trying to say that you don't necessarily look as pretty, as attractive as she did, but that you kept his attention, right? And that's the thing I think a lot of women don't understand is the fact that if a man basically says, "I don't, your outside body isn't as beautiful as someone I've been with, but I still like you more," he's not saying, "Oh, well, I'm settling." He's saying that despite the fact that you aren't as he's saying that like you kept his attention, and keeping attention means a lot, right? And being realistic. I think you need to go see a therapist or a counselor or something, or write your thoughts down. You need something to get your feelings out, because I don't think your feelings are valid. I feel like you have insecurities and they're still affecting you, and I think they're crippling you, and you need to work on them for you, girly, not because of him. Because this just is something that his words opened up the eye, the fact that it's still a bother. Don't carry scars on your heart like that for your own sake. Who cares? Ugly is not something universal. Okay, let me put it this way. I've had people think that I am pretty and cute. I've had other people call me the ugliest pig in the world, right? I'm not everyone's cup of tea. That's okay. And let's be real. That's just how it is. Let's be real. If you can also compare this, right? This sounds horrible, but I always make this comparison to meat, right? A hamburger doesn't always look the most attractive food out there. It's greasy, things hanging off of it, it's got handles, but it tastes dang good. It tastes so good, it's filling, you feel full, you go home and you're happy, right? Compared to a club sandwich, right? May make you feel good, may look really neat, maybe really fancy, doesn't always is filling, right? And that's the thing too. I think a lot of times these insecurities come from the fact that we think that pretty makes it all worth it, and it doesn't. It's about how much more everything is. It's about the full display, and your personality and your internal soul is a full display, not just a physical. I think a lot of people think beauty as a peacock, where it showcases all these feathers and it's very outwardly pretty. But that's not how humans stack up the cards against each other. That's not how we tally up the points. It's about you inside and your outside. It's about how you behave, how you interact with people, your thoughts, your mindset, how you are as a person. And it makes it all better. And also there's this thing too, that when you're dating somebody, that if you fall in love with them, you are more likely to turn a blind eye to their faults and their flaws. And that's because you love them and you care about them. And those things become minute. They become nothing. So maybe your boyfriend had more hot looking girlfriends, but they didn't stick. They were hot, but they tasted like crap. Their insides were not good people. They were not good. They weren't loyal. They weren't committed to him. They weren't funny. They weren't as smart. Whatever the reason why he broke up with them. He broke up with them. He's with you, dearie. And he's staying with you. And he loves you. I don't think your man communicated well what he really was thinking, but I think he wasn't saying he settled. I think he's saying that you outshine those girls with your internal self, with your heart, your soul. They shine brighter than their physical physiques do, and that makes you better than them. You are his shining star right now. You are the leading thing. You are the complete meal, right? And let's be real. If you go home to someone's home cooking meal does not look super fantastic compared to like going to McDonald's or going to a restaurant, right? I say McDonald's because it's major, right? Like those foods seem like they look cool and great on the pictures, but then you get them in front of you and they're just not what you thought they were, right? Every time you bought a burger from McDonald's and you've been disappointed because it doesn't look like the picture, but it doesn't taste good. that's what these girls are. They look really pretty on the pictures and look really beautiful on the inside. Then you get on your plate and you start eating it and start sampling the flavors, and then you're like, nah, this isn't kosher. I now understand why this is $5. You know, that kind of thing. I don't think your man communicated well, but sweetie, I think you just need someone to talk to. I think you need to go to therapy and or do some therapeutic things you can do at home. A lot of that self-esteem stuff you can do at home. I did a lot of stuff too. A good example is I also thought I was ugly for a long time, and a lot of people thought I was ugly. They said I was ugly. And I like to say now that I'm plain. I'm normal. I'm average looking. I ain't anything special. But I make up for it with my personality. I make up for it with my levels of integrity and loyalty. And my sassy mouth sometimes, depending on the situation. Makes some of the funner moments funner, right? But I understand that what makes me isn't just the physical, right? My physical adds a 4 to my score, right? But my personality, my giggling, my joking, my goofiness, my positive mentality, that adds a 9 to it, you know? Makes it above a 10, you know, kind of thing. I think a lot of girls, and it's because we have a lot of pressure in society to look beautiful and to fit this mold and to fit these types of things, right? It's not fair, and that's not how life's measured. And it's the same with men too, but women get a lot really with the beautiful thing. Men get it more with the handsome bit, right? I think he really should have worded it differently. But I think there's a lot of pressure for girls to feel like they have to be the most beautiful thing in the world, and books make it worse. A lot of books write about how beautiful the main protagonists are and how blah blah blah, and it makes you feel like you're superior to that because you expect every man to say, oh, you're beautiful, because that's what you want to hear. But it's not how the world works, and it shouldn't matter, because the outside will rot away. I've always said this before. The body will rot, the mind does not. I mean, well, the mind will rot, but it will take a long time for it to rot away compared to the flesh, right? Assuming nothing happens neurologically. But you as a person don't decay nearly as quickly as your skin does, right? You are always going to be that nice person, you know, that kind of thing. Assuming you stay that way, assuming you continue to cultivate it. And that's the thing, right? And that could be another way of putting it too, right? That those who cultivate a better person and soul and heart are more attractive to people than people who don't. Because if you think about it, if you walk past a farmer cultivating his crops, he's covered in dirt, covered in mud, looks like someone punched him in the nose too many times, you know? You don't think, man, that farmer's ugly. You think, wow, look at all his cabbages. Look how much work he put in. Look, he's driving the tractor so well. He's avoiding all those poles. You're looking at his work because his work speaks volumes compared to all the cuts and scrapes and the dirt on his skin, right? It's the same thing with people. People don't realize that. Even if you're a woman, men don't think that way. Men are thinking, wow, she put a lot of work in. She does a lot of things that's extra. Your extra cheerfulness, your smiles, your giggles, your hugs, your compliments, your integrative conversation, your straight fury at something dumb on TV adds to your personality. It adds to that crop that you're cultivating, and he's looking over the fence looking at your cultivation, thinking, man, I like the carrots, I like the cabbage. She doesn't do too good on that lettuce over there, but she's trying, you know, that kind of thing. But I'm gonna read some comments in the sections, but I think he just worded it badly. I think you need someone to talk to. When I said therapy, I don't mean it because you're anything wrong with you, but I think you need to talk to somebody. You need to either talk to something or do something therapeutic for you, because you need to get over your insecurities on that, for your own sake, not for his, for your own. As somebody who used to be very insecure of my weight and insecure of my appearance, I've just kind of come to the terms of, I'm not going to be like this forever. I'm losing weight, and I will take better care of myself, and I'll move forward. I have come to the conclusion that my insecurities are mine to bear, no one else's, and I can't put those on other people because it's not fair. But you have to pick yourself up, and you have to say, okay, I want better, right? And walk away. It's not like he's flirting with other women in front of you. It's not like he's attempting to say, oh, well, I miss being with them. He probably was reminiscing on the memory of it. But just because someone's pretty doesn't mean anything. I mean, there's celebrities out there that are beautiful, but dating them would be a nightmare, right? If you could think of the most attractive person you could think of that also would be horrible to date because they have a bad publicity, bad reputation with people, yeah. So it's just because you're pretty doesn't mean anything. But I do think he should have communicated it better, and I think you need someone to vent to, because clearly you haven't got over it, and these scars are hurting you, and they're affecting you, and they shouldn't. You should be happy with yourself, or at the very least, if you're not happy with yourself, make goals towards to make yourself happy. Maybe if maybe if you got acne and you don't like your acne, then do a skin routine. If you are fat like me, then you work out. Start dieting, work out, do something that doesn't break your bones, obviously. Do something within reason. Like I do a light keto, and then basic walking around, right? I should do, honestly, push-ups and pull up some more. But that requires me to get on the floor, and I don't want to do it. I should, though. But, like, you know, if your self-esteem's a problem, do things to make you happy. Boost it up. Your hair is a little dry. We'll find some shampoo. Treat yourself to a nice spa day every now and then, once or twice a week in your house, because you can actually do that with some, like, bath bombs and stuff. You got things to work with. And I don't think plastic surgery would not fix that. That's another thing I was going to say. Plastic surgery would not fix your face. It would actually make it worse. Because if you got, I'm assuming you're wanting to do plastic surgery to fix a bunch of your face, not just parts of your face, since you've internalized this thing of being ugly, even though you're not ugly. Getting plastic surgery would just make your face more messed up because it weakens the bone structures in your face, right? It's one thing if you get like a nose job, or if you're getting an eyebrow job or something like that, you know, something like you're just fixing things here and there. But if you're wanting an overhaul, which I'm hoping you're not, then that's a bit much. And also, I would say before you do any plastic surgery, even if you want to, say your nose is crooked and you want to fix it, right? If you want to do that, wait until your confidence is good, meaning you need to work on your insecurities first before you do that. Why? Because if you go into surgery to get your nose fixed with insecurity on your mind, that nose is going to become an obsession. You're going to worry about breaking it all the time. Or when you go in, you're going to get disappointed because the nose you thought was so beautiful on your face doesn't look good on your face because it doesn't match the other structures on your face, right? Like there's different like nose structures that I think are really cool looking on people, but if I put them on my own face, they wouldn't fit because I have a round face and they don't look good, right? So do it with you when you have confidence. And also another thing too is you'll start looking at yourself differently when you get confidence. You'll start seeing someone completely different, and that kind of thing, you know? So get your confidence up, and even if you still want the surgery after you get your confidence up, that's fine. But do it with a confident heart. It's similar to going to the store shopping, all right? When you go get food, don't go shopping when you're hungry because you'll buy unnecessary stuff, you'll overspend, and you'll make mistakes, and you'll buy the wrong brand because you're in a hurry to eat because you're hungry, and you'll just overspend. Same thing with surgeries. Don't go in there with insecurities on your mind or with insecurities plaguing you because you're going to make a mistake. And that mistake is going to cost you your nose, your eyes, your cheeks, and that stuff. And there are also health conditions that you have to consider when you're getting stuff. Anyways, let's read some comments before I get too far into it. Important K. I'm just gonna call him. It's Imperial KO. Look, your experiences of love is different from my experiences of love. Is different from my boyfriend's experience of love. But I've been with guys of very different levels of conventional hotness. At some point, I've said to each of them some variation of, holy shit, you're the most beautiful man I've ever seen. And I have meant it with my entire heart. Because personally and intellectually and vibes, all overlaid on their physiology for me. This is true. I get this is what you're saying. Doesn't mean I don't see their flaws. Doesn't mean I know the most people would find bothersome. They are the most beautiful man in the world to me. This probably fades over like decades of marriage. I couldn't say, but if it hurt, but it would hurt my feelings to have a boyfriend of a year say, "You're pretty, but let me tell you about the hottie I once nailed." I'm not sure I want the rational brain to be making realistic assessments of my hotness against past encounters. You know, I want them to be at the very least swept a little swept away. Yeah, see. This is why I say that the OP is completely valid on how she feels, because this chatter completely encompasses it. right? Don't as a guy, as a man, do not under any circumstance just start trying to rate someone based on logics like that. Don't rate someone different things. Don't be like, oh, well, you're pretty, but you're not very smart. Or, well, you're very smart and sweet, but you're not beautiful, right? Don't do that. Give it a broad stroke in the sense, if you like this person and they mean something to you and you love them and they are deep, then they're beautiful to you. Beauty does not have to be colorful. That doesn't have to be painted. There's how many bronze statues are out there in the world that are bronze? They're not gold. They're not silver. They're bronze, and they've aged, so they may be like a darker brown and whatnot, or they're not as pretty as they used to be, right? Like that makes it, does it make it any less beautiful? No. You go up to him like, wow, that's a beautiful statue, because you're not taking in the color, the bronze color. You're taking in the shape, the time it took to make it, what it's a picture of, like what's it symbolizing. You are completely encompassing. You're not paying attention to the 5 + 2 whatever, right? You're paying attention to the total, right? And I think a lot of guys probably should know this, and there's some girls like this too. When you're telling your partner that you find them attractive, just because they are a 2 in some categories does not mean the full sum isn't 100% and isn't a full 100, And don't get me wrong, we women also get a little overly sensitive because we have there's such a pressure to be beautiful. Just like there's a pressure for men to be strong and tough and powerful and all this stuff, right? It's hard. So I think it's perfectly fair for her to feel like underwhelming, especially since she's been calling him handsome, If you've been calling your partner handsome, if your partner's calling you handsome, then you should understand that they want you to acknowledge them for what they are. Good news for you, it doesn't fade. It gets better with the decade. When I close my eyes and imagine my husband's face, I can see every line in detail, and they are all more dear to me and beautiful than I ever could have thought possible. That is from humble narrator. You know what? That's true. But yeah, like I think that I wish I could give more time for the situation, but I'll just have to leave it to everyone else to go and look for it yourself, because I still have one more video to get through and little time to be sparing for it. But yeah, I think there was some miscommunication here. I think that he could have said it in a nicer way, and you could have tried not to internalize, not to take it personally. That's the thing, not internalize it, take it personally. But I think that, you just need to be able to, you can express it to him, being like, "Woo, I think you're handsome. Could you just at least call me handsome or pretty in the situation? If you think I'm beautiful in my soul, then tell me I'm beautiful, because that's what it is, right?" All right, moving on.
GF 23F wants to take one car garage spot after moving in with me. 25M. Alright, I'm in a difficult situation. My GF moved in with me out of her parents' house close to 2 years ago now, and around a year ago she bought a 2021 Tesla. We live in a townhome with a 1-car garage, and I always intended to be the one to have that spot for my 2012 Honda Civic, in decent condition. I took the risk to get the loan for the house. I pay it each month, and I don't ask her to pay any portion of it. Recently she's been pressuring me to give her the garage, especially due to recent events. Before she got the car, I knew I had to bring up the whole idea of whenever it may inevitably hail. We live in SEWY, and the possibility of her pressing to move my car out and hers in to protect while mine takes the damage, which I just don't like. She seemed understanding at first, but now it's getting worse. We had a huge storm blow through the other day, and it caused a bunch of hail that presumably blasted the rear window out of her other car that parks on the street, way older. She doesn't really care about this car, but this reinforced the whole garage thing. She's got her mom behind it too, and never fails to mention, "My mom doesn't like it at all that you're in the garage." She said it twice. Her mom doesn't necessarily reach out to complain to me, but she's just got to mention. And then she blatantly said last night that given the fact that her car is valued higher, that's just the reason. She's yet to directly ask me to swap spots, but she dances around it and constantly. I don't like the lack of being straight to the point. What would be a good way to navigate this situation? Looking at it from the other side, I can understand feeling that way. But I would think there'd be better ways of approaching that request than what's being done currently.
Okay, rule number 1. Do not buy expensive cars for no reason if you have no way to protect them. Period. If you're worried about your Tesla getting smacked up by hail, you should not have bought it. Now, here's the other thing too. This is an easy fix. Carport. Get a carport. They have them everywhere. You can even make yourself one if you can't get it. Say the driveway was really, really small, right? Get yourself a carport. Right, if your driveway doesn't have enough space to park 2 back and forth, say if you could park one in the garage and one out, depending, because some people's garages aren't that deep. My parents' garage is deep enough to do that. If they're not deep enough, then I've seen people do this before. They'll put a carport, assuming, I don't know if you guys ever park up in your yard, because I've had relatives that do that. I've had relatives park up into the yard, and they'll have their own little carport on the side of the building, and you can kind of roll up into it and whatnot. But also, there are ways to protect from hail that doesn't require that. I'm sure there's other forms of protection. I'm going to look into the chat. I think I just saw a commenter at the top of the chat making a comment about it. But I don't think it's fair to tell you to park your car outside in the weather. My mom and dad always took the car that was the most fragile, and they would put that one in the house. But they always picked their cars together. And if she's got a third car, if there are 3 cars in her possession, she needs to get rid of her third one. And if she's worried about the damage of the Tesla, and the Tesla is something that she cares about, there are also plenty of storage units that are specifically designed for car storage, right? If she's not worried about the one on the road, she needs to sell it or put it in storage so that it's not out of the way, that kind of thing. But I think that, and I think there's ways you can protect it via the windows. There's got to be ways to do it. I mean, and I don't think it's fair to try and move your car out, especially if your car is used for work. Because the fact that's the thing too. My parents always prioritized the vehicle that was the most reliable on gas in case of an emergency. Because here's the thing, right? We came from Missouri, so we have tornadoes. Tornadoes are a serious problem. And let's be real, not every town's safe. Sometimes you'd have to run, right? So my parents always made sure that the vehicle that was the most reliable, the most well-kept, and the best gas per miles one got the garage spot. Why? Because it was given the most protection. Because if we had to bail, if we had to run out of that house with a tornado on our trail, we wanted the best vehicle that we could get out of there. One that's most fuel efficient, that was moving the best, right? That's the rule of thumb. Whichever vehicle works the best gets the spot, right? And granted, this Tesla may be newer, maybe more expensive. That doesn't make it better, right? Your car the Tesla may be more expensive to keep upkeep, right? And if the upkeep's more expensive, then it's more of a hassle than it is with like the other vehicle, with the Honda and stuff. Secondly, it also is irritating that she's assuming that, because you guys are girlfriend and boyfriend, you're not married, you're not engaged, that's not her house, it's yours. So the homeowner gets privileges on the property and that kind of thing. So I think, honestly, I don't know how you would communicate with her about this in a civil manner, but I think that she's wrong for trying to push the button, to push the envelope a little bit too far, And I think that there's probably more solutions that could be had. So we're going to look in the comment section real quick, because I see one commenter that has a good solution that may be a case. I don't know how. I've never used a hail blanket. 3 Kids, No Money says, we bought hail blankets for the cars that don't fit in the garage. You got unsettling bonk goes, you gotta fold the blankets to get them to fit. Yeah. 3 Kids, No Money. Okay, that made me laugh. It's pretty funny. They're giggling about that. But yes, there are ways you can protect them. Then there's another one here. I don't know how to say this name. I think it's Indomitable something. This is a good suggestion for the immediate problem, but it sounds like there is an underlying relationship dynamic that also needs to be addressed. Yeah. Exactly, the same decisions. Being her being entitled a little bit for the garage spot because her car is more expensive. It doesn't hail every night, so her car on the street is more than fine. Yep. See, that's the thing. It's kind of like she's trying to prioritize her stuff at your place, even though it's your place. And also, let's be real, the only time that hail gets to be bad enough that it knocks out windows like that is if it's severe, right? My parents would watch the weather. Tell her watch the weather, right? Here's the thing. Other thing too is if the window goes out, right? Then the window in her old car may have been thin too. So she doesn't, she may not consider the fact that her window in her old car may have been really thin, hence that. A Tesla may not have the issue because it's a newer car, therefore the glass may be good. And if the glass is good and falls out or pops out, you have insurance, right? So just have it covered. It's covered by hail damage, right? Or if you live in an area that has hail damage as a problem or hail constantly, just make sure your insurance covers it. Boom, there you go. It's not that hard. Don't get me wrong, I don't encourage that, but there are ways to do it, and there are things you can do. Park under trees. That's what my family used to do. Or if it's really going to hail super badly, as I said, drive up into the yard, have a carport, like a little hanging carport. You can use the carport, it's like a little metal roof basically. You can use it for picnics and stuff too. So it doesn't even just have to be necessary for the car. You can basically pull the cars in temporarily during emergencies. That kind of thing. And that way you're not making big treads in your yard. It's just that, and you can pull them up there. Boom, there's your solving. Doesn't cost that much either. In the long run, and then, like I said, in the long run, you can get carport, like a long carport, and just stick them on there. It's like basically a little car roof, and you guys can have like barbecues under that or picnics or something. So it shields you from the sun. So boom, there you go. You have something you can functionally use and will protect your cars in times of need. So I think your girlfriend's just trying to pull a power move in your house, and you should be careful. But yeah, because there's plenty of solutions to that. And like I said, hail damage doesn't happen very often. Normally it takes multiple nicks on a window to break it out. Anyways, so this is gonna be the last of these. There's 2 videos, thank goodness. So we've got it all ready to go. If you want to leave comments on these people's posts on things, I will leave the links below. Please be civil, be kind, no bullying. All you're gonna do is make yourself look like a fool, and no one's gonna listen to a fool. Alright, so I will see you later. Bye.
And we can just